Hey guys, it's Kevin here, and welcome back to my channel. And today I'll be reviewing episode 23 of season 11, Secret of the Wolf, sharing my overall thoughts on it, and scoring out of 10. Without further ado, let's get into it. The episode starts off with Lloyd continuing his journey on his Titan mech and tells more of his life story to Red. Meanwhile, at the Castle of Ice, Grimfax arrived to inform the Ice Emperor about his successful win. Vex tells him that he still sees the hearth fire burning in the village and tells the Emperor to punish Grimfax, but Grimfax is spared and Vex persuades the Ice Emperor to punish the villagers of Great Lake, as well as the stranger in green. Lloyd continues telling his life story to Red, and the Ice Behemoth attacks them where Lloyd falls off a cliff. He was able to defeat it in the process. However, Red is wounded and Lloyd wraps a bandage around her leg. They go to sleep, and Lloyd wakes up the next day, sleeping next to Akita. Much to his shock, he found out that Red is actually a formling. They had an argument, but reconciled after Lloyd advised her not to walk on her injured leg, and Akita offers to share her story with him. Back at the Castle of Ice, the Ice Emperor awakens Boreal with his staff, and the mysterious prisoner sees the Ice Dragon as it flies off to freeze the villagers of Great Lake. For my overall thoughts, I really liked how Lloyd had referenced Harumi when he is telling Akita's life story. For me, it's been a long time since I've been wondering if Lloyd would still think about Harumi. This episode does well with introducing Akita, as we all know who's the three-tailed wolf. When we get the first glimpse of her sleeping beside Lloyd, we see her cap and then her face. And when she uses her shape-shifting abilities, we don't see her entire body being transformed into her human or her wolf form. I had made a video several months ago about a theory that the three-tailed wolf is actually Akita, as well as who the formlings are. And it turns out that my theory was correct all along, that she was indeed the wolf. I also liked how Akita had taunted Lloyd by suggesting that he should defeat the Ice Emperor with boring stories about Harumi. I felt as if Lloyd has been ignorant towards the suffering that Harumi had gone through, and I love how she gives him the taste of his own medicine, so to speak. And the part when Akita and Lloyd reconcile is really heartwarming, especially when this allows Lloyd to realize his mistake of accusing her for not being so trustworthy, and it shows a good recovery in their relationship. The scene with the Ice Emperor and the Blizzard Samurai is very good, with foreshadowing that Zane is the Ice Emperor, especially when we see the Emperor using his staff to freeze Grimfax. This suggests that Zane is the Ice Emperor since he wields the staff with the Forbidden Scroll as he is banished to the Netherrealm by Aspira. It's great that we get to see Vex, including his interactions with other characters. I feel like it's developing his character further in this episode. It shows more of Vex's dark side as he loves to attack people, especially when he tried to persuade the Ice Emperor to freeze Grimfax and the villagers of Great Lake. As far as I can tell, I love how this episode does well with incorporating soundtracks. In the scene with the Ice Emperor and the Blizzard Samurai, as well as the awakening of Boreal the Ice Dragon, the creepy soundtrack fits very well with it, especially when those are meant to be ominous and somewhat intimidating scenes. As for the parts with Lloyd and Akita, while they are setting up camp, and while they have reconciled, I really love the spiritual and tribal feel that is incorporated into the soundtracks. It makes those scenes heartwarming and somewhat emotional. With the scene when the Ice Emperor awakens Boreal again, the animation did really well in concealing the mysterious prisoner's identity. We only see the silhouette of the person, and it is extremely hard for us to see who that prisoner is. That is something that I love to see, and it doesn't spoil the part before it can finally be revealed. And I love how this episode manages to move away from the filler for now and focus on the main plot of the Ice chapter, especially when we get the obstacle that the Ice Emperor had created the Ice Behemoth to prevent Lloyd from reaching the Castle of Ice. Aside from that, I didn't like how the same soundtrack from Season 9 with Lloyd fighting against Garmadon is being reused for the battle against the Ice Behemoth. It's kind of like in episode 20 when Lloyd is fighting against the Icebird and that same soundtrack is being reused. You can go ahead to watch my review video for that episode if you have time. And I'm saying that it's not a very creative way of applying a battle soundtrack in this episode, and I feel like it should have been done differently. It may be okay to apply the same soundtrack to a scene, but it has to be necessary though. The soundtrack that's been applied is not. The battle with the Ice Behemoth is nothing significant, and it's not like in Zane's last recording, also from episode 20, that it seems emotional or something like that along those lines. Lloyd and Akita's argument is kinda off, even though it was funny when Akita used some of Lloyd's life story back at him. For me, some of the fans don't really care about it, but I have a habit of wanting them to get along rather than fighting each other, and I find that to be annoying. Not to mention when Lloyd told his life story to Akita, I also find that to be very annoying since it makes me feel like Lloyd is being very arrogant. Especially when Lloyd mentioned Harumi, he didn't talk about her tragic life and how she became a villain in the first place. By the way he is speaking, he seems overzealous in talking about his battles, in which he could have at least acknowledged the fact that he's also made a mistake that ruined Harumi's life. This makes me feel like he cares more for himself in his endeavors rather than anyone who's paying the price for his or her loss, and that kind of takes away the respect that I have for him as a character. My score for this episode is 8.5 out of 10. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share it with anyone or everyone you know. In the description, you'll find a link to my Twitter account, and you can let me know about your thoughts on Twitter. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye, everyone.